Hey, everybody, welcome to our continued wellness podcast. Thanks to Fire Zone Fit with my co founder, Scott Spalding. He's an active duty firefighter out in the Arlington area, and he's actually on a call now, so won't be joining us or may return. And want to also introduce one of my former guests, Jeremy Wagner, and our guest tonight, Walt Channell. So, Jeremy, quick intro, and then we're going to pass it over to Walt.
Yeah, no, everybody from the earlier ones has probably heard about me. I'm a retired deep sea diver, did the military for 20 years. I'm now a nurse. I'm all about men's health and wellness, whether it comes to mind, body, and soul. And I want to hear everything that Walt has to say. So please tell me all about it, man.
Hey, how you doing? Walt Channell. I currently work in cybersecurity across several different industries. I'm a fitness enthusiast and a newly competitive bodybuilder.
Awesome.
There you
So, tell us a little bit about, Walt, tell us kind of your background, like, your history, what it was like being a kid, in Rockwall, Texas, where we went to school, but oddly enough lived in Rowlett, which was in Rockwall anyway. Tell us about, what it was like being a kid and kind of your journey through adulthood and to where you're at now. And we're old geezers now, so it may take a while.
go.
Hey,
It may take a minute. I may have to think just a minute for that to actually come up, though. But no, I remember remember first meeting your family and hanging out with them when we were kids and kicking everything off. And I remember riding that bus across the bridge over to Rockwall, like it was railroad tracks. I mean, it was definitely good times. That's all I gotta say.
Absolutely.
But no, my dad was an '80s metal drummer originally back in the day. So we traveled a lot. That eventually ended up in Rockwall at the end of fourth grade. I went to about 10 elementary schools because when you have a dad as a musician, that just kind of happens a little bit, right? You move around, do different things. They did cut one CD called Dagger Rich. If you look it up, you'll barely be able to hear it. It sounds kind of like a Motley Crue remix along with Black Sabbath, right? He's Googling right now. Look at that.
Good old
Rick
Rick.
Chanel's
I
my
can't
dad's name.
wait.
Just
All
Google
right.
my dad and you'll find him, right? He
All
sells.
right. I'm in.
You're like, I'm on this. I got to look at this up. So had a
Tell us,
great
like,
childhood.
going
But
into getting out of high school, getting into adulthood. What was it like? Were you were you an athlete in high school, or did you consider yourself an athlete in high school, or what was your? I guess tell us a little bit about your overall journey. I know you had four Fs you're going to talk about in a minute, but kind of relate. Tell us a little bit more background on where you went to school, what you do now, and all that stuff.
yeah, yeah. So back,
Kids, tell us about your family.
yeah, yeah. So back in high school, I was the chubby kid, freshman sophomore year. That finally blossomed my junior senior year. I started working out and getting into fitness. I was in gymnastics for a short time, and of course, since my dad was a drummer, I played the drums as well. I was a percussionist in high school, and you would think that being the chubby kid carrying the big bass drum would make you fit and skinny, right? It did not. It just gave me back pains. So
Mm.
that was always fun. What really got me into kind of moving forward with family and fitness was getting out of school and seeing that, hey, look, to actually make it in this world, you've got to have energy, right? And so, since I was kind of up and down as a child, I'd have energy, not have energy, whatever the case was. I was like, fitness is kind of where it's at. You got to stay fit, you got to stay healthy so that you can get up and do things on a daily basis, no matter if you want to or not. And so that's where I kind of came up with like the four F's at some point in time, which is the faith, family, or faith, fitness, family, and food. And we can break those apart if you want to, Luke.
yes, break them apart.
Yeah,
I want to hear all about it.
Let's do it. I want to hear
yeah.
it. We're dying to hear it.
So growing up Christian, right, which is hard in East Texas. I grew up Catholic, which is even harder in East Texas, right? Since most everybody is Baptist. I have a Southern Baptist preacher as a uncle and a Catholic priest as an uncle. So it was the house divided as a child. Just kidding. No, it wasn't bad at all. But there was always faith. We always had prayer. We always had faith, no matter what was good, what was bad in our lives. So we just kind of like knew we always had to make it. And so every day starts off with a prayer just to say thank you for the good and the bad, and then we move on with the next day. And
I
that's what
love
I teach my kids as well.
it. That's great.
And the fitness side came into play because you can't be a dad, you can't work for a living, you can't do what you need to do if you're not healthy, right? So I do put fitness not solely above family, but equal with family. So I get up early, I work out, and it has to be done. And once that is actually done, and I actually get the fitness side in, then I know that I can actually start my day and I can do what I need to do to actually be with the kids, to actually support my children, do my job, do what I need to do, and actually set an example. So that's
Do
what
you
I.
consider it like your job or your responsibility as a father or the leader of the household to maintain health, to, just for God forbid something you get sick, who's there to take care of the kids, what do you think about that?
I mean, 100%, 100%. Back in 2015, I got into a bad car wreck. Right, I was T-boned, and as Luke knows, I've been fit and fat more times than you can think. And when I say fat, I mean PHAT fat. Right, we were awesome. Okay. So I got in this car wreck. I was T-boned. My arm was pulled out of socket. I hit my head. I was knocked out for 7 minutes. I lost 3 weeks of memory. I couldn't even lift like 5 pounds for a while. So I had to get back into fitness. And then I ended up gaining like about 40, 50 pounds just because I was, a little bit down, couldn't lift anything, which you need to do. But imagine how bad that would have been if I didn't actually work out or I didn't have physical fitness in my life when I got into that car wreck. Right. I mean, I don't think I would have been able to recover as quickly as I did. It did take a couple of years, and I was still like up and down on my fitness journey. But what really hit it though, when you talked about doing stuff for family, is my sister passed away. My older sister passed away December 1st of 2022, and I'd always wanted to do a bodybuilding competition, right? And it's not fun. It's a lot of pain that goes into it. There's a lot of dedication. There's a lot of different things that have to happen when you go into bodybuilding directly because it's not just about fitness, it's also about, hey, my left shoulder looks wonky compared to my right shoulder, so now I need to make this look better, right? And I never looked at it that way. I looked at it as like, hey, I just want to be healthy and eat good food on the weekends and drink some whiskey. But now I was like, you know what? I need to actually look a certain way. So I looked at food as like something completely different. I looked at it as fuel. I looked at it as like, hey, this is going to actually be a macro that's going to make me actually look this way and feel really good at the same time. So it kind of just changed the way I looked at it. And I was able to dedicate that pain and suffering basically, because it is a lot of pain and there is a lot of suffering that goes into that, to my sister basically. I was like, hey, I want to do something for her. I wanted to make sure that I dedicated something to her, and that's all kind of how this kind of came about the actual bodybuilding side of the house. It's good.
That's awesome. I was gonna ask, like, so I know you talked about real quickly, making sure you're healthy enough for your kids and being active, kind of showing that. At what age did you have kids? Because I think we're on all sorts of the spectrum here with the age groups. Like, I'm an old dad. Like, I got a two,
I'm a mix, right? I have
so
I'm 46. I had my first child I had at 19,
oh, dang.
right? Okay. So I have a 25-year-old, a 22-year-old, a 19-year-old, and an 8-year-old. I
That's
have
awesome,
two
man.
boys getting married this year. One's getting married later this month, a 25-year-old. The other son is getting married in November. And the 22-year-old is getting married in November actually did his first bodybuilding show, and he actually won second place at Men's Physique about 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, and we all kind of work out together sometimes. We go to the same gym, run into each other, things like that. And they also encourage me, like, hey, Dad, when are you going to get back in the gym? Now, I always worked out. I always like lifted weights. I've always done like some form of powerlifting. I've always been strong, try to keep the strength going. But I'm always up and down those 30 pounds. You're like, oh, look at this guy. Who cares? It's Christmas. I'm going to eat, but I'm still going to work out. But when you start to do bodybuilding, you're like, wait, I got to look a certain way. I got to actually cut this fat off. I got to thin my skin out. I got to get this kind of going in a different way. But yeah.
Yeah, Walt, I'm gonna guess this, bodybuilding takes a little bit of discipline.
No,
What does discipline mean to you?
discipline is about consistency. There is discipline, but there's also consistency when it comes down to. Everyone has a good day, everyone has a bad day. I mean, I woke up at 3 a.m. before, and my daughter decided that she wanted to cook, chocolate chip pumpkin muffins and left them all out over the counter. And I'm just going, right? Because it's 3 a.m. and you're tired and you get in the middle of the night. So that's where the discipline comes in because you might still eat a couple muffins, but just get back on it the next day, get back on it the next hour. It's all about consistency. What do you have at the end of the day? Everyone's going to mess up sometimes, but you just need something that you can do that works for you that is consistent. And bodybuilding gave me an outlet that says, hey, this is a goal that I want to meet and need to meet that others can also do as well. And my sons took it and was like, hey, look, I want to do a show also because I see dad doing it. Dad can do it. I can do it. Right. That's kind of how that works when you have boys. Everyone's in some kind of competition mode, which is
How
good.
how proud are you that your sons have kind of taken up that part of your life and do that? Like I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm like, dude, that is amazing. Like that is what I think most dads kind of dream of. I was like, that's great. Like how do you feel about
I love it. I love it. I never wanted to be a dad, and then I'm a dad, right? Just all of a sudden at a very young age, right? And it is the best thing that's ever happened in my life by far. It definitely teaches you what to do, what to drive for. And so you're actually molding someone. So to see them like go, hey, look, I like what he's doing, even though they make fun or whatever the case is. They're like, hey, I think we want to do a competition. Even though last week they were like, dad's working out again, dad's eating only rice and chicken again. But then you see them go, I want to do the same thing. I want to get a coach. I want to see what I can do. And you're like, oh yeah, it's coming through. So it's lead by example. Lead by example.
at what age did they kind of start like mimicking and following and wanting to? Because I have a 10-year-old, so it makes me very curious.
10 was probably one of the best ages. I was blessed that I was able to coach their football teams for about 4 years as well. And I remember when they were 10, around third grade-ish, right? 10 is around third grade. And East Texas tackle football, heads up football, got to teach them how to hit, right? So I remember like them starting to stop see me as a hero and stop listening to me. So I tell the other coaches, be like, hey, can you have Gavin or Ethan do this, right? And then the other coaches were like, hey, can you have my kid, I'm going to use you, Luke. You could have Luke do this, right? And then Luke would listen to someone else. So it just kind of goes in an ebb and flow. So it came back around like 21, where they were kind of like, hey, I don't know what to do with my life. What am I doing again? And then they start to see you kind of as that not hero per se, but they see you as someone. How's dad doing in his life? How did he succeed to that next level? You
It's a
know,
model. You're a
it's a
model.
Your kids absolutely do that. They see you eat health, make healthy food choices, and the next thing you know, they're asking for better food in their lunch bags for school. It's the imitation, it's flattery.
yeah, no, it's a great thing. And then my 8-year-old daughter, she can get whatever she wants. I don't care. She can ask anything. But it's great though. No, but I think that pretty much answered, the family.
Yeah, and Walt, you pretty much summarized the four F's there, and if you wanted to dive into any specific one, your faith, if you, I mean, we've kind of blended it all together here in this last couple of conversations, but I kind of want to hear more about like the adversity you've gone through. My training as a certified personal trainer and certified nutrition coach through National Academy of Sports Medicine is, it's taught me a lot. But the one thing that seems to be thematic is that to get strength, there has to be adversity, whether it's going through a hard time in your life, maybe it's a death and you come out stronger on the other end, right? And so, how does that kind of relate to you personally? How do you feel like you overcome adversity? And then, how do you feel like that translates to from a fitness standpoint?
No, no, I like it. And if you don't mind, I'd like to tell a small story about a butterfly, right? I actually heard this this week, and it's only Tuesday. And everyone knows about a butterfly. It's a caterpillar that turns into a cocoon and then it blossoms, right? One thing I didn't know that I learned just recently is that when a butterfly is actually getting ready to come out of the cocoon only opens up just a little slit at the bottom, just a few centimeters, okay? And it won't open anymore. And there was this man looking at the butterfly. It's in the cocoon. He's like, he sees it struggle for a couple of days. He's like, man, that thing just can't get out. So he decides to go ahead and slice it, and the butterfly falls out, but its wings are shriveled. It's not there. It's not where it needs to be. And he's like, what's going on? So then researches and finds out that the butterfly has to force open the cocoon to force the liquid out of its wings so that it can actually expand and then it can fly immediately when it comes out of the cocoon. So literally, we grow through struggle. We grow through adversity. our muscles do, our brains do, everything kind of works that way. And for me personally, Luke, I know you've had some hardship in your lives as well over the last couple of years. We've all had those kinds of things, and it's very difficult. But as we grow and we see just different things happen, we go, you know what? I just have to do this. I just have to get it done. So really, it comes down for me. It's just not a choice. Sometimes you just have to get up and do it, no matter what it is. Your shoulder hurts, your back hurts, your neck hurts. You just do it. You just lift 10 pounds instead of 20 pounds. You don't care what
Yeah.
other people think at the gym, right? You just try to stay consistent with it. And with consistency comes results, regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. And being fit and committing your life to being healthy and physically fit, I think kind of helps prepare you for personal problems that show up because they're coming, right? There's more coming till the day you die. And
The
so
paid
having that discipline instilled in you, and also like for me, from a grieving standpoint, I was able to channel that into my workouts, into my fitness regime, and deal with anger and all that stuff. And the other thing I love about my daily workouts is it's my time for meditation and I get zoned in and I'm ready for the day, like we were talking about earlier before the call. You know, I just feel like they're so intertwined, physical fitness and mental toughness and mental fitness. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
100% agree with it. I have a lot of workout equipment that I've collected over the years here at the house, right? And I've always been like a at-home workout guy. I did P90X back in the day, and I got really fit on it. Got down to like 5% body fat once. I followed it to the T. I was 100 pounds overweight almost. We can share those photos. I was in a rough marriage at the time. I was a military contractor traveling about 32 weeks a year on average. I was, down there for Katrina for 5 months, and during that time, I just put on like almost 90 pounds in like less than a year. It just blew up, you know, and it happens. And then I looked in the mirror, and I didn't even know I was like fat. How do you get so? I mean, not fat, excuse me, PHAT fat. But how do you know that you gain weight, but not know you gain weight? What happened to me is I was driving one day and I felt a pain in my chest. I go to the doctor and he goes, "Hey, you're massively overweight." And I was like, "What? I only eat like a cheeseburger every day. I don't even eat any food." I was
Wait, how
drastically
big?
not
How
eating.
did define like big? Like how much? Like how big were you? How tall are you? Like how big was like 300 pounds, 250? Like what was it?
I'm about 5'11", and I was over almost 300 pounds exactly.
Wow.
I agree with that doctor at that point.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree with that
What
doctor.
what was your BMI? Like 50? No,
I
40?
think it was you are a huge guy.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
So
I don't
was that like a
even.
shock? I mean, was that a wake up call or what
it,
happened?
it was it was a wake up call because I was like, how am I going to be a dad? I'm sitting there working all this because I had kids at a young age. I'm setting money aside, for the kids, right? I was like, hey, sometimes you just got to do certain things so that you can provide for your family. And military contracting paid well, and travel usually generally paid well also, right? So it's like, hey, what can I do? So two things happened that year. The doctor told me I had to lose weight, and he said, you're going to have a skin reduction, all this kinds of stuff. I looked at him, I said, that ain't going to happen, dude. And it didn't happen. I didn't have to have any of that. I was able to lose the weight. I was able to tighten my skin up. I said, you know what? If that's going to happen, I'm going to make sure I have huge triceps, right? He said, hey, you have a flap right there. I was like, that's not going to happen, dude. So I just did as many tricep push-ups a night as I could. I do like 300 a night plus the P90X workout. I was like, this just isn't going to be me. I'm not going to be the guy having my skin cut off. So that same year, I was in a plane over Salina, Kansas, in a 17-seater. And I don't know if anybody remembers what a 17-seater is, the two propeller planes, United Airways. They had the two pilots in the front. You have the double doors. The air's coming in loud. It's a fun little plane. There's me, one other lady, and then the two pilots. Earlier that year, there was a plane crash because of the winds and the way they come down in that same direction, right? But I needed to get to the medical location that was military owned very quickly, so I took the plane. The right engine stalls and stops. The left engine explodes in fire. Lights going off. It's coming down like this. I'm like, we're gonna die. The lady looks at me. She's like screaming. We're all trying to put on our seatbelts. I'm like, it's going to be okay. And I'm in my head going, no, it's not going to be okay.
Huh.
We're in a lot of trouble. And I knew at that point in time, I needed to change my life. I quit my job that night. Even have a new job. I sent an email to my boss. We're going to go back to my hotel because we did eventually, land. One engine came on. We did an emergency landing. It was crazy. It was fine. The other one still stayed on fire. I was like, is that going to explode anytime soon? It
And
might.
you've been on planes since.
I've been on a lot of planes since, but it took me a while. I didn't go on another plane for probably about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, that'd do it.
Yeah, it took a minute.
Ah,
But I quit my job and I went to go work at Ross Pro for a few years, lost a ton of weight. I got to work great hours. And that's what kind of put me on fitness journey the first time.
so what's keeping you there this time, Walt?
Getting older and then with my sister passing, that's what really kind of sparked it again, right? Because I was kind of up and down just all the time and not being dedicated. Again, it comes back down to consistency. So now I just do it. So there were times where I had to work out at 11 o'clock at night. I just went and did it because I was at, a football game or whatever the case was, right? Or I had to go work out this morning. I worked out at 3:30 a.m. because I had things to do. So I don't want to work out, do weight training in the evening. And that's just kind of how it happens. You just got to do it.
Absolutely. So, I know we've got a couple participants in the audience. Anybody have any questions? If so, I can unmute you if you would use the chat. If you have any questions, we'll give you a second. All right. No questions from our esteemed audience. So, let's talk about some things that you and Jeremy and Scott, before the call and when the call first started. Um, a lot of folks are asking me as a nutrition coach, aside from me giving my basic advice to folks that are currently overweight or obese is to, if I were to give you one piece of advice, it's to get outside and walk, even if it's for 1 mile, and do it habitually, do it every single day, and you'll see it, your life will change. Okay.
You know, through bodybuilding, I learned more about nutrition than anything else and about basic cardio. I was the guy that loved to do F45, climb ropes, do pull ups, lots of functional training, but that's also where I got injured a lot as well. And it's fun and it's cool, but I can still jump high without it. I can still do pull ups without it, right? I just don't do it as often. And literally walking burns so many like fat based calories if you keep it at a good pace. Because right now I'm in what we call prep for bodybuilding show. So generally I do cardio twice a day. Now again, this isn't all the time or for everybody. Normally I'm only working out 4 days a week. Right now I'm working out 6 to 7 days a week and sometimes 3 times a day. So I have cardio for 30 minutes. I have weight training at some point in the day for about 50 minutes. Then I have cardio again for 30 minutes. And the main cardio is generally just a stair stepper, or it's going for a walk with the dog for 30 minutes. It's getting my heart rate up to like 120, something like that. And that is really what takes the fat off to help maintain muscle mass through the diet and then just melt the fat with the walking. It's unbelievable how that works.
Yeah, it really is the power of walking, just getting out and walking. We're not, it's not getting into a gym or going for a jog. It's just a simple walk, and doing it outside, I think, makes a big difference, getting that sunlight.
Yeah.
So Walt, tell us, I mean, as a kind of newly competitive bodybuilder, your regimen right now is crazy. When's the show or competition?
We're looking at mid-October. Looking at mid.
Okay, so you're gearing up for, yeah, just in a few weeks here. Wow. So you're working out 3 times a day. What are you eating? Nothing but chicken and rice for the next month, or what are you
I
eating?
I I do eat a lot of chicken and rice. I am an avid hunter, so I'm blessed that I have 2 freezers full of deer meat. So deer's pretty lean, so I do eat a lot of deer.
I'm so jealous right now when you said that. I don't want to hear it. So
Hey, I'll give you some, man. I actually got
I would take it.
You got to ship it to
I got three of
Arizona,
them.
though.
So yeah, so actually I cooked some up last night for that with the kids. But basically my diet right now consists of like eggs, egg whites, rice, cream of rice, low glycemic things. I used to think that brown rice was good for you, and it's not bad, but white rice processes differently, things like that. My diet's accidentally gluten free, right? It wasn't something I strive for, but just it just so happens. So everything I eat right now is to lower bloating within my system, lower my body fat, so that I can maintain muscle mass. That's really what it is. And if you looked at it from just not the type of food, it's also about the macros. So I eat about 250 grams of protein a day on average. I eat about 50 to 60 grams of fat, and I eat 130 carbs at the moment, which isn't very many carbs, right? But I have to have the fat to kind of keep my mind going, depending on what's going on. So, yeah. And I will tell you this: the motivation is I have a great coach, and he actually went to high school with this Luke. So Brian Higgy, and then I
Oh
had
yeah.
yeah. So he's helped me out. He's the biggest dude at the gym, and I was like, I want that guy to help train me, right? Because I want to make sure this successful. And so he really taught me about nutrition and my weight routine and things like that. And then because I thought I knew all this stuff already, oh, I know how to work out, I know how to do this, but how do you get bigger muscles at an older age? And how do you do that and maintain it for longevity? And so looked in the mirror, we made a plan and said, this is going to take 2 years. So here we are, around about 2 years, give or take, right? With a little bit of extra change on there and getting ready to do the show. I also had another person help me out with different nutrition, Shannon Sutton. She helped me out with different things and also has kind of helped motivate me through faith and fitness as well. She's also a fitness instructor, so that was really good. But yeah, no, it's been definitely a journey, 100%.
Yeah, and it sounds like it was all inspired by JC and
Yeah, yeah,
passing and gave you kind of a new mission, new purpose, and something to channel that grieving into. I think that's what it did for me, at least in my own experience.
did.
I'm so glad I was already on my. I'm on a 4-year journey that I've been on. I've lost over 70 pounds.
That's true.
Um, I really kicked it into gear about 2 years ago, and what did I do? I just started walking every day. And next thing you know, it's a jog or it's a mountain bike ride. And then I'm into road biking, and then and fast forward today, I'm racing.
Cool.
Certified personal trainer, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been quite a 4-year journey, but man, last year or just a little under a year ago, when everything fell apart in my world. I was able to get on that bike and just go ride for 3 or 4 hours and just get away from it all. And I'm afraid that if I didn't have fitness in my life, it could have gone a different direction. Jeremy, you and I have talked about that, and you're on mute too, because I know you're
Yeah.
not normally this quiet,
Oh, my
but
daughter had
definitely
a weekly
on.
emergency. She had a boo boo that required screaming, so I had to go check her out a little bit.
Oh, of course. Okay. Dad life, dad life.
Dad life. Hashtag dad
Yeah,
life.
hashtag.
Hashtag dad life. So I truly believe that like having that discipline, and it's little stuff like I make my bed every morning. I don't I, it's just me and my two girls. Like nobody's
Yeah.
I never have anybody over, but it's a little thing that I do that gives me a sense of accomplishment that I can move on to the next task and be productive. And it's a process driven kind of way of thinking. And it's different for me. 20 years ago, it was the complete opposite. I ate like crap. I never worked out. I didn't walk. I was extremely obese. I had sleep apnea. I had fatty liver. Uh,
Mm.
but it's just amazing how um, finally getting to that level of fitness. And man, I am nowhere near your level. My body fat percentage is probably like 20 something.
Oh no, no. You look great, man. Your journey done
Yeah,
so
that's amazing, man. Keep it
uh
up.
top
Yeah,
notch.
well, I appreciate that, guys. Appreciate it. So, Scott, are you back or is he on another call? Goodness.
I saw him run off real quick. He
Did
probably got
he?
called away again. Yeah, Fire Zone Fitness. It is for
Yeah, Fire
firefighters,
Zone Fitness.
police,
He's
EMS. Yeah,
fired.
Yep, yep. So one of these days we'll catch him on his day off because it just turns out like I'm like when their schedule changes all the time. So I'm always like, what day are you not working so we can do this podcast series? And he's like, I
I'm
don't
always
know.
working. The answer is I'm always working.
Yeah.
I had a quick question, and you might have answered it whenever my daughter was having a quick emergency. But and I know you guys have talked about the whole like if you could do one thing, what would it be? And all these revolve around discipline, and picking something. And I always tell people if and when I'm ever asked, really, is just pick one thing. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's weights or walking or reading your Bible or whatever it is. It requires discipline to make sure you do it every single day, and just pick the one thing, and then go with it and see what changes in your life. And I was curious, like, what was your one thing that you started with, both Walt, and then what was the one thing that you started with, Luke, whenever your world did fall apart? And I think you already told me it was walking, but, was there something pre-walking? You're like, I'm doing this every day, at least this one thing.
Go ahead, Luke, since he led with
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it really was. It was the walking, and I'm going to try to eat one healthy thing today, just one. And I'd go days without eating anything healthy, but I'd start over and say, and a lot of it did, kind of like you, Walt, and Jeremy and Scott, us all being dads. I was concerned for my own longevity as a person, as a human being, that I could die in my, God forbid, my 50s or 60s or 70s and not be there for my grandkids and their weddings and all that good stuff. And then I was worried about morbidity. I was worried about getting sick, eating bad cholesterol and saturated fats and it to extremely high levels, and just asking for potential heart attack down the road. My cardiovascular health was horrible. And the way a lot of folks are treating it today is they're throwing medicine at it, and a lot of it's preventable with the right nutrition and physical fitness. So I want to get on like the top of a mountain and be like, guys, please just eat a little healthy, eat a little healthier, and maybe go for a walk
Yeah.
just once a day or 2, 3 days a week. Go for a walk. You will increase your lifespan and decrease the chance of getting a disease. Like the number one killer in the world is what?
Heart
Heart
disease.
disease.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the most preventable diseases out there. So anyway, enough of mine. Jeremy, what other questions do you have? And Scott,
Well, I wanted to hear
are you
Walt's.
on a
What was
call?
the one thing
Oh,
what
Walt's
was the
one
one
thing.
thing that you
Yes.
really started on? You're like, man, like I have a hard time with discipline. I heard you talk about, over time, that fluctuation of 30 here and there, and discipline can be really hard, especially if, well, I know that I can get back to it, this, that, and the other. Like, what was the thing that changed in this last 2 years? You're like, this is the one thing that rain, sleet, or snow, no matter how I feel, shitty, good, whatever it happens to be, this is the thing that I am going to do.
No, I love your question, by the way. When I did it the first time, I lost, like around 100 pounds. It was similar to what Luke did. I started walking, I started jogging
Wait,
because I
hold
knew
on.
as
Did
well
you say
as
100 pounds?
it was near 100 pounds. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I sent the picture to Luke
Of
recently.
course
He's like,
not.
"That's not you," and it was me. And what's funny is somebody would meet me, right, when I called it fit again, and they were like, "Oh, you look like you did in high school," right? Because I got fit in high school, and they didn't know that for 2 years I was morbidly, drastically obese, killing myself, right? People didn't know, or people that saw me obese are like, "Oh, wow, you lost a lot of weight," but people that didn't see me for like a couple of years, acquaintances or whatever, they had no idea that I had lost and gained all this weight. And so the
Can,
first time it was really just, that walking.
can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
I wanted to see, okay, so you said that you've been fluctuating, and I don't know if anybody else is inquisitive about this or not. I mean, clearly food, but what caused you to gain that? What was the thing that happened? If there was anything either, it might not have been anything, because that's a drastic increase and then a drastic decrease. What was the mindset there? What was the emotional set? Like, what was it that caused that entire ordeal?
I don't want to say depression because everyone used that as kind of crutch or trauma, or whatever. But I was in a rough relationship.
Valid.
I became a single father eventually of three kids for a while, but I was in a rough relationship. And what I left out about the plane crash is I felt that I knew I needed to get a divorce at that time as I was dying in the plane crash that I talked about earlier. But yeah, because I got a divorce within a year of that as well. So it changed my life, lost weight, got a divorce, everything happened all at the same time. Um, but with that being said, though, to backtrack on what you're saying just a little bit, the up and down and the inconsistency was that sometimes I was like, hey, look, I got to buckle down, I got to work, I got to stay up all night, I got to do this, I got to write this code or whatever the case is, you know. And eventually, I became an executive, and you're running a bunch of teams. You have to go to dinners and eat and drink, and I realized you don't have to do that, right? You can go, hey, you know what? I'm going to eat the salmon instead of the steak with this guy that has all the butter and everything else on it. Or you can be like, you know what, I'm just going to have a Diet Coke and I'm not going to have like, whiskey or something like that. So really, it's also about being secure in who you are and what you want to be and what you want to achieve in your life. And so the second time around, when my sister passed, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I did it a little bit differently. I didn't care what anyone thought about me. I didn't care if I brought my own food with me to the cheer competition or the dance recital, whatever the case is. There's literally pictures of me at dance recitals eating like chicken and rice like this, right? For the last couple of years.
Oh,
I was
that's
in
awesome.
Galveston recently for nationals. I'm asleep, at the hotel, like waiting for them to get done with the makeup because I'm a dad. I can't do makeup. And so I'm waiting for them to get out with the makeup, and I'm asleep like on the floor, just eating chicken and rice like sideways because I brought my own cooler backpack with me. Of course, the kids have their food too, but I just decided that I'm going to do this and I'm just going to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And I don't care what anyone thinks or does. What's funny is when I was first starting, no one really thinks you're working out and doing well because I was bulking, because I wanted to have bigger muscles. Okay. So I'm actually looking kind of chubby. I got up to 235 pounds. And I still had muscle. And you could tell I was round. But then now I'm back down to 195 because I'm in prep and I'm cutting. And I'll probably be down to like 185, like on stage to 180. Right. And I'll be like an Ethiopian, and then I'll go eat a giant meal, and I'll be like up to 190. So really, what it came down to is I didn't care what anyone thought. I just did it. But once you start to see success, no one really cares. I go to executive meetings every quarter. I bring my own food with me. I door dash mart it or have it delivered to my hotel room, and I literally bring a cooler with me into those meetings.
All right.
And those
Follow up
little
question, just
successes are
because I'm liking
sometimes,
where this is going, if that's okay with you, Luke.
Yeah, no,
no,
sorry.
I was just going to say, like, those little successes are the workouts that you do in your hotel room,
Oh yeah.
strength, body strength workouts that, nobody knows you're doing. You're not at the gym. People don't,
No.
it's your own discipline that runs that. Anyway, sorry, Jeremy.
I mean, no, I haven't been to a gym unless my wife makes me go for some reason for probably years. Like I just work out in the garage. But either way, my follow up question is, again, like I might have missed it, you might have said it, but to reiterate, I guess that point is now what is your driving force? Post, your sister passing away and you're at your 2 year mark and you had a goal, right? What is going to drive you further? What is the reasoning now to continue this trend? What is the reason now for your men's health journey, your mental health journey? Like, what is going to keep you going without setting back into being 300 pounds of, oh crap, I'm going to die young? What is that?
I want to live to be past 100 years old, is really what it comes down to. Right.
Why? Why do you want to live past 100?
I'm glad you
I
asked.
need to know.
It's semi-selfish in my opinion, but it's also a blessing. I want to see my kids and their grandkids. I want to be able to throw a football. I want to be able to crawl on the ground. I want to be able to jump in the pool. I want to be able to go skydiving with them. Things I've done with my kids, right? I want to be able to do all of that.
At
My
100 years old.
at 100 years old,
Just remember, man.
you never know. It could happen. But I don't want to be a bump on a log. I want to be able to crawl on the ground and like not worry about my back hurting. And I'm not saying my back and shoulders don't ache and hurt now, but they don't hurt like they did prior. You know what I mean? They don't, everybody has an injury. And what's funny is the 22-year-old or 25-year-old or 21-year-old, they have the same shoulder pain I have. It's because of how we work out or what we do, right? So would I rather have that because I'm lifting weights and doing some cardio and eating and maintaining a healthy body fat, a healthy body weight, and I can still pick up a kid and throw him up or whatever? But yeah, I'd rather have that. I'd much rather have that. I'm an
Have
L
it or
pump
even keep it, right?
Huh? What'd you say?
Have it or even keep it. Like
Yeah, keep it.
today, you never know what tomorrow holds. You may get in a wreck and lose the ability to walk. So
But
I live in daily gratitude for my range of motion. Like to be
yeah,
able to just get to work out. I'm grateful for that.
yeah, yeah. My dad's mother, when she passed, right, she had broke her hip, and she actually lived for several years after. And I just remember the doctors telling me it was because of her muscles and her quads. They said normally that is an ender. So I make sure I have big quads. I'm like, hey kids, go work out your quads.
Yeah,
I mean, jokingly
men
aside, right?
breaking hips is not as up there as women breaking hips, but
Right.
yes, anybody that's
It-
up there in age, once you break the hip, you do generally start moving downhill afterwards.
that's right.
I wanted to say that I had a feeling that was your answer for the
Yeah,
reasoning why, which I have tended to find most of our answers are something like that. Most
sure.
of it is, and like I said, whether it be semi-selfish or you feel like it having the other way, wanting to be there for your kids and your grandkids is not selfish at all. That is something that uh, it's priceless. I can't think about another way to say it. And having the need and the want to be there is something else indefinitely. Like that's amazing. So
I
keep
think
up
it's a
that.
gift to them to
You know, in the
give.
Bible, it says they will know you through your fruits, right? And majority of that is, what do you give back to this world? They'll know you through your works, works, faith through works, etc. How do you get to heaven? Um, but those fruits are also your children. Okay. I mean, it's literally been the blessing, and it could be your children or children that you help coach or whatever the case is, or even like a peer that, is childlike, right? I'm kind of joking a little bit, but
Luke, he's talking
you never
about
know,
you.
man, you know, but,
But
I wasn't talking about you, Luke, not this time. But
because
the
I'm on the
first is,
call. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's because you're on the call. It's because you're on the call. But it's just getting them to the next level, and you do it together. You do it through a community, and Joe, who's on the call, I see him right there. He goes to the same gym, right, that I go to. We train together sometimes. So,
Hey, welcome, Joe.
oh, I think he's muted. He's muted.
Oh, yes, we want to say welcome. So, you know, yeah, that's these are all amazing reasons, and I just come to find that whenever it comes to men's health, men's wellness, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, like
Mm.
it seems like a lot of these almost always run parallel, and I always that's why I'm so inquisitive about why I really want to know. I'm like, oh, this is my experience. What is yours? Oh, look at those parallels and how they run. Look at yours and Luke's. And so if somebody's watching or somebody ends up watching this and they see that, man, if that's something that can help them, like
It
that's
and
amazing.
have a goal and have a goal. I mean, bodybuilding's works for me, but what I left off as my next thing is I'm doing an MMA competition. So I mean, that you know what I mean. I can do basic boxing, but I don't know anything about jujitsu, right? So I need to learn how to roll on the ground with people.
You'll get
Uh,
a whole new set of injuries from that.
so
Just
yeah, I have a
Yeah,
buddy who's a
right.
black
forward from
belt.
it.
And he's been doing it
Yeah.
forever. And he's like, I'm so happy you're in it now. He's just so
Oh,
excited.
I've been
And
trying to get back into it. I feel you. I don't know how long you guys have
oh,
been
dude, yeah,
practicing
we
or
should.
not, but once you get old enough, you're like, man, I can't even get on the ground anymore. And then you
Oh,
try to get back up to that goal of when can I do this?
I've been reading about
So,
old men jujitsu and how they take it slow and how they get better at it. I was like, oh man, I'm
yes.
slow. So it's exciting. Always have some kind of goal, I think, just to help you go to the next level mentally, physically, everything. And I do want to throw in there, I do read the Bible. Something about I did Bible in a year, listening to it, and that is awesome. I love it. I highly suggest it for people, whichever app you want to use. But when you actually crack open the Bible and actually read it, it does something different. At least for me, it does. Okay. Yeah, I have four next to my bedside study Bibles, things like that. So I look up different things, and you got AI and the internet and everything. But there are so many verses in the Bible just about fitness, right? It goes through Corinthians, it goes through Timothy, it goes through Proverbs, Isaiah, and Romans. Like it talks about women and physical fitness, right? There's so many things in there that kind of you can relate to that, and all the answers are there for us, right? They really are.
Thanks for that. That was well said.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I'd share if you would after the podcast, share with us some of those verses that are, relate to taking care of, the body God gave you, right? So I'd love to see that after the call or podcast.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I don't mind sharing the chubby guy pictures, as I like to call
Yeah, come on with it.
I think that goes past chubby at that point, man. Like, you
them.
know, from going by what you said, I mean, I think you're being really kind to yourself in saying that. I
Yeah.
know that you just met me. I'm not the super kindest person. I should be, and I struggle with it. I will call a spade a spade. So,
You know, I
share
was a
them, just stand
large
by.
fellow. I was a large fellow.
Yeah,
Fellow.
that's a good way to say it.
Yeah,
Luke
but
can
you're
correct
like a
me if
big teddy bear, Jeremy. You're a sensitive masculine guy. Like
I used to be a big teddy
Masculine
bear, and now
aces.
I'm more of a skinny, you know, whatever. But we're trying for it. I know that usually towards this point in the podcast, we try and do like questions. I have a lot of questions. I always have a lot of questions. I don't
Yeah,
want to.
please ask.
yeah.
Luke, do you got anything before I kind of go down the
No,
things
man.
before I
Fire
forget
through. We've
them?
got about 11 minutes.
Yeah,
So
because I one if I don't say them, I'm gonna forget them, just because of my own mental health stuff. So I am super curious. I know that most bodybuilders I've ever met are like, hey, rice, chicken, rice, chicken, rice, chicken, you know, plus whatever else it happens to be for maintenance. I've done that for a long time, and I've since kind of gone the more anti-inflammatory route just because the gluten-free stuff really helps with that.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I do it more for the anti-inflammatory disease processes and how hopefully it'll help with that. And if you were to go to your doctor right now and get a full health eval, I'm like, hey, this is where you sit per our labs and yada yada. How healthy would they say that you were based off of lab values, based off of, you know, there's theoretical values and there's practicality of it, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Like, because you see a really in shape bodybuilder, like, oh, that dude's in shape, but then you also see them die of heart attacks like a year later.
Yeah, and there's reasons why some do, right? There's different reasons for that. But I just got my lab results back. I will tell you right now, my testosterone is actually tanked. It was 377. My hemoglobin was perfect. Everything else is perfect. Cholesterol is perfect. Everything is actually perfect across the board.
What was your cholesterol at?
I don't remember, but I don't mind posting my labs. I'll just blur out my personal information. I'll throw it out there for
I'm
people to.
I'm I'm a nurse, and I'm also a dork when it comes to this stuff. So like,
Yeah.
I love seeing it, and I love seeing how people compare that. And like, this is how I feel, and this is what my lab values
Yeah.
are. So I always think that's always important.
Now my test is not normally that low. Naturally, it's between 4,800. Now I do take TRT through prescription, and I don't necessarily need it per se because it does retain water, so I do actually get off it sometimes. But I will tell you this though, it does make you feel good, right? It makes you feel happy. It is a happy drug, okay, and that's when we produce in our bodies. And for me personally, when you talk about anti-inflammatory, that's just where it's at for me. And I don't necessarily always eat chicken or rice. I eat within my macros, but usually it's an anti-inflammatory food. And gluten-free is generally almost always anti-inflammatory. I also don't eat refined sugar at all. After I got all this out of my body, now that when I do eat it, sometimes I get like a burning sensation in my stomach. I feel kind of sick. And I'm like, dang it, I used to really like that, right? So I eat healthier foods just because now my body wants that in general.
Do you find that you fast at all during these, or are you just one of those, hey, this is my macros per day, I really don't want to deter from that because I have these goals specifically for these shows kind of thing?
So because I was in that car wreck, I saw a neurologist for some time because I had fluid on the brain, memory loss, blah, blah, blah. He made me go through keto and then intermittent fasting. So I did fasting for 2 years after that. Okay. And I was down, I was pretty ripped for a little while, just fasting.
Yeah.
And I would still eat bad, but I would fast between 36 to 72 hours every single week. Okay. And I even did a 12-day fast once to actually fix some areas of my body and to purge out like some, I was just feeling kind of sick and sinus
I love
issues.
hearing that.
And it
Nice.
worked 100%. Was I grumpy? Oh my God, I was horrible to deal with, right? But after day three, it was better. Lots of salt, things like that. At the end of the fast, I lost like 4 inches of my waist immediately. My love handles that just would not go away went away. Like all that stuff happened. So I highly believe in fasting, and I do. I'm not fasting right now only because I'm on a strict regimen for the competition, but fasting is awesome. It's done wonders for my life. You literally look younger after you fast. Like if you have ailments, I truly see them just kind of go away.
Okay, well, self-admittedly, I've never fasted. So
It's
Do
great.
it, man.
I'm
I'm
scared
fasting right
though.
now.
Like
I
I'm
recommend it, but you
afraid
got to
I'm
do it
gonna be
right.
too damn hungry.
You got to do
Yeah,
it right.
dude, I haven't eaten since Sunday night right now, and I'm hyper
Oh, and
focused.
your brain is still hyper focused right now because it's been like that long. Now, in the beginning, it's kind of hard the first like 48 hours, 36 hours, but
Yeah.
your body changes into a true keto state, and
Uh-huh.
it's literally feeding on different things. So your glucose, your glycogen, your muscles will look flat. He's not losing muscle. You know all this. You're a health professional, but
The pituitary releases
yeah,
what you need so
exactly.
you
Oh,
don't
which
lose
is
muscle
growth
size.
hormone, which you
Yeah, all
need.
kinds.
Yeah, I can nerd out on all this stuff.
Oh man, I will nerd
Kind of
with
the
you, brother.
peptides.
Like,
Yeah, let's like you guys get a room on fasting. Okay.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if there's anything that makes you healthier while taking away from all these morbidities that we find ourselves in, especially the older that you get,
Yes.
like it seems to be like I slept wrong 2 days ago. My shoulders hurt me the entire time since.
Yeah.
I had BP C157 hopefully showing up today. I'm interested to fast and take that. Like I want to see what the actual changes are
Actually,
while
good
eating the way
stuff.
that I want to. There's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
Good
finding
program.
other people that do this just makes me want to talk to everybody more.
Yeah.
Like, cool, what are
So,
you doing? What works for you? Maybe I can apply that to my own life, So
and what happened with me is I talked to someone at the gym who's in his 70s.
Yeah.
He looks better than me. I'll tell you that. And but
He's
he's just
how old?
always happy guy. He's 72 years old.
that's
Six
awesome.
pack,
And he's
ripped.
more fit than you are.
Hey,
He's,
Walt, I
he's
just
bigger
hit
than
big 6-0, buddy.
I. And Joe's 60. Look at him.
Joe was like, I'm not
Happy
70. He's like, I'm
birthday.
He's
only
like going
60,
like
but I
this. He's
appreciate
flexing
it.
on camera. He's like, look at my pecs. But
That's right.
we were talking. Everyone has a shoulder injury, right? I mean, everyone has something kind of going on there. I had some big shoulder pains going. I hadn't sleep for it was nearing 2 months. I had gone to medical massages. I had X-rays. I had MRI. The ultimate was going to have surgery because I have a torn labrum and a rotator cuff, but I just didn't want to have the surgery. And this was just killing me now, right?
Don't do it.
It's
Don't
like
ever
because
get
I'm
started.
drying out my muscles and everything, to look a certain way for this show. So that's part of it. So BP157, I tried it immediately as soon as I read about it. It did nothing for me. Then I added in TB500, and the TB500 is more of a healing agent mixed with the lubrication agent of the BP157. And that together in like the Wolverine stack, not separately, but together, when I tried that peptide, I'm not kidding you, 3 days, slept like a baby, haven't had the pain since. Not
I
even
would
kidding.
love for you to put whatever that was that you just said in either chat or message me directly because I'm waiting for like I tried to do as much research as I could with daddom and everything else, but I'm gonna try this one just because it's not cheap and I'm like man I can't
Oh, it's
justify
not cheap.
spending stuff sometimes but it is health so where do you determine what is good and what isn't so I'm gonna try this one and I'm gonna take it to its extent and I'm going to see what the full effects are. But if you have something that you have tried and and I'm like, you know what? I want to go for that after this portion of it's done. I want to see if I can because this shoulder's fake. This is just straight up metal. This one needs to be metal, but I'm never going to do that again. So it's like, well, this man has some answers. Let's see what they are and apply them to your own life.
Yeah, you got like I
I'll
said,
put
get
it
a
in there
room.
for you.
Now, I want to hear. Hey, guys, the question I have is somebody has never fasted before. Like, what do you recommend I do? I mean, we can probably talk about that for another 20 minutes.
Well, it sounds like he's a little
But
better at this than I am.
we're at the top of the hour, and I think we were only going to go 45 minutes, but we had a spirited discussion, so we're going to wrap. But I want to stay on and keep recording for our social content, for Fire Zone Fit, all that good stuff. So, and I'm dying to hear some answers to some questions I have. So, Walt. Thank you so much for being a guest on our podcast today on overcoming adversity and talking about the four F's and just kind of sharing your own, experience with, mental and physical fitness. And we really appreciate you coming on today. Thanks so much, Walt. Jeremy, thanks for co-hosting. Scott, you're out there putting out a fire or
It's like
is
I'm laying
live.
down.
So we wish you well and we hope you're safe. Watch your six, brother. Anyway, so we're gonna wrap. That's it, guys. All right, Jeremy. I know you're like I can tell you're like getting a chub right now over the
Man,
chat.
I love information, and I
I
love
hear you.
whenever
I hear
people
you.
feel passionate about something that they're doing, especially if it's something that works. I guarantee that they're, you know, fuck, out of like 20 people you end up talking to, there may be like 3 or 4 of them that it actually affects. That 3 or 4 people, it may be a change in their life they absolutely need. So talking about it, getting the right people in your circle, finding out what works, that's what it's about, especially at this age or older. You got Joe here that's 60, or just turned that. Like, life gets rough, so it's what works, what doesn't work, what is tried and true for this person, and then apply it to yourself. So yeah, I'm all about that kind of stuff.
No, I think it's great. The peptides have really kind of changed my life a little bit. The cool thing is some of that can even be used in natural bodybuilding as well, which is awesome. Uh, which is
I
great.
I was trying to not to. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then finally here I'm like, man, all right, I got to do that.
Yeah, yeah. There's peptides for weight loss. There's peptides for just about everything now on the market. It all hits growth hormone in some way, shape, or form. But it's crazy how well a lot of this stuff works. The bad part is once it all is FDA approved 100%, it will be very expensive. We already
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
So right now, because of where it's at, it's in the research stage, which has been researched the heck out of. It is. I already see it doubling in price. I had to go buy some more of that,
You're
and
doing Wolverine?
yeah, the Wolverine stack is what they call it, right?
I'm going to Google that while we're talking. Something interested.
Yeah, I've seen it
Yeah, I have some
advertised on
PDFs
Facebook.
as
Like,
well I
what?
can provide. Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff that actually tell you about how to do the dosage. You mix in 2 mils of water, and it has to be refrigerated, all that. And it is a sub-Q injection. Now, they do have pills
Oh,
for P157, but it's about 10% effective in the studies
Yeah,
they've done. And by the way, like me, Luke, I nerd out on all this stuff, man. Like, I
of
research a living
course.
out of all of it because it's my job, right? So
Yeah.
research, research, research. So sub-Q injection is really the way to go if you want results and you want them immediately.
well, I use a. Oh, am I still muted? I can't tell.
No, we can
No,
hear
you're
you.
on.
Oh,
We
okay.
still do.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm on the other screen. Like, I have a nurse practitioner I go to. I take tests, and I'm trying to wean myself off of supplements, things
Yeah.
unnecessary, and I'm trying to make it to where it's more dietary related,
Yeah.
and keeping that maintenance of the hormones that we need at these stages in our lives. So while I'm trying to reduce that, like, everything hurts. I think a lot of people can state that. So, but if I can talk to my nurse practitioner and be like, hey, buddy, and I've known this guy for a long time, I was like, hey, if you guys have something to this effect, or at least you're working on it, because they cover all kinds of stuff when it comes to insurance coverages, especially comes to testosterone therapy, that kind of stuff. A lot of it does get covered, but they also get it way cheaper, even if you don't cover it with insurance.
Mhm.
So, like, I'm like, hey, if you do the 157 TB500 stack and you sell it, but it's not, I think I'm looking it up right here. It's like $130 for the one that I'm looking
I
at.
would do the 10 meg. The 10 meg is what worked for me. And
Yeah.
I started taking, I was about 220 pounds and I was in the middle of my cut, starting to dry out, right? A couple months in.
Right.
And so I knew that it was my joints. By the way, when I'm on a bulk, I was eating about 5,700 calories a day. I was literally in a deer
Yep.
stand with my son eating chicken and rice. This is no joke. I had my cooler. Oh, look, there it is. Hold on a second. I mean, I was definitely hillbilly. But there's no issues there. Everything's lube. It's great. But if you're looking to lose weight, you will dry out and you will have pain in places that you forget about. Is what's going to happen.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not even looking to lose weight. I'm looking for the oils to
Yeah.
help kind of lubricate the things that aren't well lubricated anymore, or to move. Like, this shoulder's so far gone that now this one, it compensated for so long. It's in the exact same state this one was. So it's like,
Right.
well, what can we do to still keep mobile and move? While not losing muscle mass, still being a threat. Like, if violence has to happen, like, I will be prepared. But I don't want to
That
be
was
that.
part of my thing too, right? I'm
Like,
trained in different things, being a military contractor. So, it's like, hey, man, I got to be ready in 2020. I was like,
yeah,
we're
So
good.
guys,
yeah.
I'm going to
So
ask a question that, like, I think the general public want to know. So, everybody's been on the nutrition aisle. You pass the protein bars, the protein shakes, and you've got your collagen peptides. And I know they're super popular right now. I take collagen peptides, but tell us, like, what's the difference between the other peptides and say like a collagen peptide?
Well, peptides, I mean, basically it's like a powder form that's in some way, shape, or form, right? Those peptides are oral, so they're not as effective. But collagen for me would mess my tummy up sometimes when I would take it orally. Yes, I did say tummy. I have an 8-year-old. Um,
Yeah,
I
I
saw
wasn't going to say
I'm
somebody-
anything.
glad. Yeah, I'm glad it's not be a
yeah,
suppository.
it
Okay.
still happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I highly anything you can do to help improve your health, right? Skincare, I think, is big too for people. Not everybody always, thinks about that. And collagen helps with that. It helps with skincare, helps with like everything. And that's comes down to like you asked me earlier about diet, and I totally skipped this part, right? So BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, everybody kind of knows
Mhm.
about that. They know about creatine. We can talk about that too, which I take creatine every day too. By far, I've taken that for
I had
years.
a I had my primary care physician tell me not to stop taking creatine. He says all it does is make your muscles fluffy, and he says
He's probably a
probably
smart
get
dude.
renal failure all these high
I'm
school kids are dehydrating and dropping dead because of creatine. So like,
So from the nursing
You need to
standpoint,
drink water. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, well,
so from
duh,
the nursing
yeah, but
standpoint, I am, I work in kidney function. Like I am a dialysis nurse. I'm a dialysis clinic manager. Like these are all the things that I look at and I know what I'm looking at. And as far as creatine goes, you can have elevated levels, and as long as it's elevated, but you know exactly why, try taking the labs without taking it for a while. And if for some reason there's still issues with it, switch that mentality of taking creatine on a daily basis. I just stopped creatine recently, only because I'm eating enough red meat that I should not need it. And
That's
so
what I,
now I'm looking at like, okay, from the red meat, point of view, along with I eat a ton of eggs every day, so I'm eating lots of red meat, lots of eggs, lots of brown meat. I'm staying away from sugar right now because I want to see over 3 months what happens to my HbA1c and what that does with the inflammatory purposes. So you don't have to, as long as you know you can level it out some other way. That kind of makes sense.
and that's why I get the labs done. So regardless of bodybuilder or anything or not, I get the labs done to check my insulin levels to make sure I'm actually in a fat burning state, things like that. I get it for all kinds of reasons, and also because I'll get back to the point in a second. But my biological father died at 46. My older sister died at 46. I just turned 46 earlier this year. Okay, that was the whole reason to try to do this within 2 years. And so
Mhm.
she randomly died in her sleep. He randomly died, in a chair, right? No one knows why exactly. There were no autopsies done, so don't really know. So I was like, you know what? I need to figure this out and make sure that, I make it to, if I make it to 47, everyone else in my family lives to be in their 90s or above. So I'm good to go. That's the way I look at this. I'm like, hey, I got
That's
to
a
make
good
it
way to look at it.
96 and I'm ready to rock. Okay. But looking at all of that, I do take crealkaline creatine, which is a low monothate, and it takes a long time to get in the system. It can cause all the issues that you said, Luke, 100%, and it does need to be taken with regulation. But I've taken it for a large number of years, even when it was before it was regulated, and I used to take it with orange juice and apple juice. I've never had an issue with my labs or anything like that personally. I have other people that said they did because of that, but they also didn't drink enough fluids. I drink so much water
Yep.
and sparkling sparkling water as well because it keeps me full right now. Hippo Chico is my friend, but that's great. And back to what you were saying about the red meat and the BCAAs. You asked me earlier about chicken and rice. And what I said is I eat kind of like a diversity. One of the reasons I eat a diversity is they all have BCAAs in them: whitefish, chicken, red meat, eggs, and so on. But they have different levels of the BCAAs in it. Okay. So I also
Yep.
take a BCA supplement right when I wake up if I'm, it's a cardio morning or a weight training morning. And I do that immediately just to make sure to get that in my system since I'm on prep and I'm pretty much kind of in a semi-fasted state almost every morning right when I wake up. I'm starving, right? Right where I eat
Mhm.
my 12 eggs and well, it's 12 egg whites technically and two happy eggs, which are so delicious. It's like my favorite meal of the day. So,
That's awesome.
so and then a whole
anyway,
other area we could go in is like, when do you
oh,
take your supplements?
oh yeah.
I take magnesium right before bed. I take my branched chain
They get
amino.
that 2 hours before bed, not just before bed. Like you
Oh,
want it.
really? See, I
Yeah.
like this is,
Yeah, magnesium is a magnesium glycinate is a wonderful supplement. If you have or dating somebody or married to or you yourself have RLS, it has been shown in studies to help decrease those effects. And a lot of those have to do with just electrolyte imbalances in general. So the healthier you get with your electrolytes, the healthier you get with what you eat, and all of those lower glycemic indexes types foods, the healthier and better you're going to feel. So yeah, that's a good one to do. And there's a lot of different types too. Like right now, like this is actually magnesium. I start taking it at about 4 p.m. because it helps calm me, and I usually get angry by around 4 just because work can suck, you know. So, and then at night I have like this little it's like hot cocoa, but it's magnesium and it tastes good and it helps calm me, and then you get better sleep for it. So
All right, fellas, how much protein a day, like X body weight?
So my
depends.
coach is in his 50s. He's a really big guy. He's about 235 pounds of solid muscle, like single digit body fat, right? And then I started researching because of what he told me. I was like, he's telling me to eat way too much protein. Everyone's always told me 1 pound per thing. And then I started reading the studies, and basically it's almost 2 grams when you're over like 30 to 40, especially as a male, of protein. So basically, if you want to weigh 200 pounds of muscle, you need 200. You need like almost like 350 grams of protein that you need a day, right? And I was eating around 300 grams during my bulk, and I did gain a lot of muscle so that I could be big for this show. And right now, I eat 250 grams just to maintain my muscle mass at the moment.
And how
And
on
that,
earth do you get 250 grams in? Are you just like
And
eating?
I'm only eating 2,100 calories a day, so I do know this is
Oh,
possible.
that's a lot of egg whites, buddy. You're eating a shitload of egg whites right now, is what you're eating.
Yeah, I eat a lot of eggs.
wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of that, and chicken. On the other side of that, lab wise, they to sustain what you have, to keep moving, to not lose brain function, to not hopefully lose muscle mass. It's like 0.75 per kilogram. So like I'm a 100 kilo person. So you're supposed to maintain, or not even maintain, but basically stay functioning. I'm supposed to have 75 grams, which
Mm.
is sounds way too low for anything. But most of the United States overeats in protein to begin with. So I, just as a general rule of thumb, eat about 75% of my body weight, at least in grams of protein and my macros. And whenever I do measure my macros, right now I'm really not, but I know I don't eat, I probably eat around 200, about 180 to 200 grams a day. And I'm a 6'2", 200 and plus or
And
minus
that's
10.
good.
Yeah. So it's it's healthy, and it doesn't wreck your creatine levels because high protein does, and so your doctor won't be as mad as you for it. So, and that's the balance with it. That's why the labs are always important, so definitely keep that up.
Yeah, I try to do my labs every 6 months at a minimum, but I don't know if insurance covers it if you do it. Like, I think
It
you should do
doesn't.
it every 3 months.
It doesn't cover it. I pay it out of pocket every 3 months to do
Yeah,
mine.
you can find places to do it for like $55 though.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like in the back of an alley, like
No, 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 no.
you gotta like
Like
you gotta
my,
like give the guy at the door $2 to get
I
in.
mean, you can give me $1 and I'll tell you I'm doing that. It won't be the
you know,
case.
you asked about supplements, and I'll actually post my current workout routine. I'll actually post my current food, and I'll actually post my current supplements. So, like in the morning, I drink lemon water. I take glutamine, about 10 grams. I take 5 grams of BCAAs, black cup of coffee if I have time. I do zinc. I do 4 milligrams of magnesium in the morning. I do magnesium also later in the day.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
take L-carnitine and carnitine by itself as well. And that is,
Question.
I do 15 grams of EAAs immediately as well.
Why separately if you're already taking your branched chain amino acids?
Well, I take EAAs and I take BCAAs. I do that.
Essentials and okay, gotcha, gotcha.
So I do both, and I do pure only. Like it's disgusting. So you have to mix it with something.
So
Really?
my question is, do you take any organs as a supplement, not a supplement, actually eating it?
When you say organ, you mean like liver pills, things like that?
Liver, spleen, pancreas, heart,
I do.
anything that's
I
beef.
take it midday. I was only going through like what I take when I wake up.
Oh, geez.
So
All right, yeah,
But you
post the
do eat
entire
I
list.
do.
organs.
I have a pill concoction. I look like an old guy, right? It's like this giant thing. It's about a foot long, literally, and about 6 inches wide. And it's just like the pills for the morning and the evening that
I
I
was
do.
just in Florida and I have a separate suitcase for my supplements.
Oh yeah,
See,
yeah.
I
I'm
am
always
trying
being
to
pulled
get
over by
away that.
TSA and everything. They're always going through my bag and going like, do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at you like this guy's clearly bodybuilding for a reason. Like this is what we're gonna run into anytime we see somebody at this type of physique. Like that's a
Most
common.
likely.
You know, have you tried just doing the organ meats? And it's roughly about 3 ounces a week. Should give you all the supplementation. And this is from studies that I've been reading, and now I am actually testing. And I'm not testing anybody but myself. Like I am
So
trying to find out how this actually works.
love
Is
that
it
you asked.
worthwhile? Is it how painful is it, or is it all worth doing it? So
So I've ordered a bunch of this stuff. So after the show, I have some stuff I want to try because I even tried not taking my supplements for like a month because I just want to see what happened right to my body. And I didn't
mhm.
notice a huge difference, I'm gonna be honest. I did not notice a huge difference. But also it's probably in my system for so long. And then I went back to taking it just in case. Now, as far as like the organ stuff goes, I've already ordered all that. I have the pills on stack. So when this is done, I'm definitely going to try it. And I would like to try adding that into my diet directly as well, where I'm actually eating it direct because I am very curious how it works. So I've done keto, I've done, I
Yeah.
guess a carnivore, I've done it all. But it's like really what can I do to maintain consistency for me?
All
Is
right,
what
well,
it
we got to stay connected then, just
Thank you.
because the stuff that I'm doing right now is basic stuff you're going to be doing. And you've done
Okay.
so much more than I have as far as bodybuilding, that kind of stuff goes. Like my body can't do that crap anymore. But I have a
I
feeling
know
that
you.
we're going to run parallels on a lot of different things. And instead of us both reinventing the wheel, we can probably learn from one another with a
Well,
handful.
and us, the rest of us out here would like to learn too a little bit from you
That's the
guys,
whole reason for it. It's like,
expertise and
let's get people
wisdom.
together that
Like,
want to learn stuff.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Well, and record it so we can, do mini segments on it and stuff like that on social media. Because, like I said, to you guys earlier and to our guests on the podcast, the whole purpose for these podcasts is to promote men's health and men's wellness and make sure us guys in our late 40s or gentleman just turned 60 or my dad just his early 70s, what can we do to better our overall well-being, whether it's incorporating meditation for the day, it's prayer, whatever it may be, like just how to be better men, right, is what we want to
I think
share, and
that's the
hopefully
goal.
that's the goal here. So I'd love to geek out into supplements. I think we could do a whole segment on that. I think we could do a whole segment on diet. I think we can do multiple segments on the physical fitness side of things. I'm excited. Let's just make sure that you and Walt don't like go get a separate side room and have these conversations without us. We have to record them. So
No, that's fine, man. I'm all, you know what? In the interim of these conversations and the interim of, finding what works and what doesn't, I mean, this is, I can't say enough that this is what the world needs. The world needs men getting together for the sake of men's health, women getting together for the sake of women's health, and everybody getting together for the sake of everybody's health. The more we talk about it, the more we ask questions about it, the more we're passionate about it, is what's going to make any of those differences. So the fact that you got on here and did this, Walt, like, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
yeah, huge thanks.
Luke and Scott are the ones putting it out. I'm kind of just a third wheel in this. I just like to talk, and they let me. So
Oh, there's Scott.
hey,
Scott,
Oh,
tell us
hey,
Scott,
about the
hey.
Scott's
calls,
back. Oh,
man.
there you go. Yeah.
Tell us about the same
Hey,
homeless guy you guys have called on 4 times a day.
yeah, no, we didn't run on the homeless guy, but
He
That
what did
froze
I
up.
miss? Can
he
can we
froze.
start over?
Uh, yeah, you got your O face too. We're not recording
Oh,
anymore.
Hold on a second.
what did I
We're
miss?
gonna
Please
call
Yeah,
it.
guys
oh
start
geez.
over.
No, you're gonna listen to the recording in full in its entirety, including the part where we were talking shit.
Yeah, I'll
That's
listen to the
important.
recording for sure.
As far
There'll
as men's
definitely be
health.
some edits. Definitely be some
Yeah,
edits.
you're gonna have to bleep me out a few times. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah, no worries.
I behaved.
yeah. Hey,
For once,
Scott,
I'm
you'll
glad we
be
got it
happy
on
to hear.
recording then.
What we
Oh, is it
have.
still
Oh,
recording? Son of a bitch.
oh. Scott, guess how many times I said MFR?
Uh, 25.
Zero, dude.
Negative.
Zero.
Zero.
Zero
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was
times.
like, wait, you didn't say it. I was trying to make sure I
I
didn't say
know.
it.
I
Because
was
Right
so
they
now,
proud of
complain
you.
Look,
about it
give that
so
man a
much.
protein shake.
Luke knows my mom, and she is a feisty 5'1" lady who I've seen her shoot a flamethrower in high heels right on Thanksgiving. That's who she is,
Nice.
and she just has a mouth, and so just I'm trying to make sure I just don't take that on as I get older.
Oh man, one of these days I'll probably do it less, but I don't see that anywhere in the near future. Gentlemen,
I
I
have to
gotta
as
go eat
well.
and take care of the kids. Thank you for including me in this. I love all of you guys. I hope all of you guys stay safe. Keep on keeping on. Keep that discipline going. Um, Seriously, whatever I can do to help with anything, if a friend asks for help, you help. Period. So, keep me in mind for anything. You guys have any questions? I'm always available 24/7. It doesn't fucking matter to me. So,
Right on. Later, Jeremy. I've got to
all right,
run.
bro. Talk to you guys later.
95 Bronco has just been painted white, just like OG. Shit you not. I'm not
All
making
right.
this up.
All right,
Dude, you
I'm
got to
going
have
to
a
pick it
glove
up right
hanging out
now
beside of
at
it
the
that
body
doesn't
shop.
count, right?
I'm dropping, I think, if I know how. So,
All right, guys. Thanks again, Scott. Great. We had a great podcast. Walt did a phenomenal job.
Very cool.
It's great. We got all kinds of good content for social. I mean, we talked about pretty much everything, and so
Cool.
listen to the recording and hit us back with questions or maybe
Yeah,
thoughts on because we talked at the very end about like other podcasts, at least, or I threw some out there. Walt, you may have some ideas too, and Jeremy's already gone, but yeah, we
yeah,
want to keep doing this, man. This men's health
absolutely.
deal.
Yeah, I think we've got plenty of content. We've got plenty of people. I've got several other people that have voiced interest on having discussions. So yeah, let's keep it going for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing, I think is cool is I think it's cool to like openly discuss faith and Jesus and Christianity and not like feel like we have to like water that down for the sake of men's health. Like I said, man, I want this to be like a group of 4 or 5 guys that just get together and talk about our overall well-being and our fitness and our diets
Yeah,
and supplements we're taking and not taking and
yeah,
just to kind of continue on as a community and hopefully this will grow and we'll get some followers and go from there.
100%, brother. I'm all on board. So let's do it.
Well, you got we'd love your help too, man. We always need help.
Yeah.
So if you want to be an interview,
Whatever you need, I got you.
we got you, dude.
Yes.
You're like an expert witness, bro. I mean, come on. 5% body fat. Good Lord.
Oh,
All
that's
right,
good.
guys. We'll see
All right.
y'all.
Talk to you
All
later.
right.
Bye.
All right.
Y'all take care. Have a good evening.
See ya.